Muammar Muhammad al-Gaddafi was born in the desert near his hometown of Sirte on 7th of June 1942. In his youth, he was an admirer of Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser and looked to him as a hero. While at a military college, he hatched his first plan to topple the weak monarchy of King Idris, who was undergoing treatment in Turkey. After military training in Britain, the 27-year-old lieutenant returned to Benghazi and launched a successful coup in 1969. He laid out his political philosophy in the 1970s in his Green Book, which charted a homegrown alternative to both socialism and capitalism combined with aspects of Islam. In 1977, he invented a system called the Jamahiriya, or State of the Masses, in which power is meant to be held by thousands of people's committees. He was married to Safiya Fakash, a former nurse in Libya, who he met after the revolt when he was hospitalized with appendicitis. Gaddafi had 8 biological children, 7 of them sons, and adopted 2 children. The exact figure of his vast wealth is not known. He had an Airbus A340 private jet which he bought from Prince Al-Walid bin Talal of Saudi Arabia in 2003 at $120 million, complete with a jacuzzi. For 42 years, the willful mercurial figure of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi has been a thorn in the flesh for the West. Branded the mad dog by former US President Ronald Reagan, the outlandish antics and bombastic pronouncements of the self-styled philosopher at times made him seem a figure of ridicule. He considered himself an intellectual and dreamt of uniting Africa to one state. He is known for a flamboyant dress sense with a strong taste for safari suits and sunglasses. He was used to changing his clothing several times each day and, according to his former nurses, enjoyed surrounding himself with beautiful things and beautiful people. He hired several Ukrainian nurses to care for him and his family's health. Since the 1980s, he only traveled the world with his Amazonian guard, which is comprised of only female bodyguards, reportedly sworn to a life of celibacy. The female bodyguards were considered less easily distracted. On foreign trips, Gaddafi made very particular requests to set up camp in a luxury Bedouin tent accompanied by his bodyguards. Gaddafi's former aides have said he was obsessive about his image. He gave gold watches with images of his face to his staff as gifts. This year, a Brazilian doctor told the Associated Press that he performed plastic surgery on the Libyan leader in 1995 to avoid appearing old to the Libyan people. According to a 2009 document released by WikiLeaks, Gaddafi disliked flying over water and refused to take airplane trips longer than 8 hours. His inner circle stated that he could only stay on the ground floor of buildings and that he couldn't climb more than 35 steps. At home, the Libyan leader presented himself as the spiritual guide of the nation, overseeing what he called a version of direct democracy. In practice, critics say the longest-serving leader in both Africa and the Arab world retained absolute authoritarian control until it was wrested from him at gunpoint. Dennis Okari, KTN Prime.